Butterbean comfortably in control in this 4-round bout as he continues to pound the overmatched talent.
And I have to give him credit.
Butterbean with a possible big money date coming up. Butterbean.
That was
Butterbean. McNeely ready to go. And that's it. Shane 80 steps in and stops the fight.
The drama surrounding one of the most unlikely, terrifying powerhouses in combat sports begins not in a flash of fame or a gleaming championship belt, but in the quiet, unassuming rise of a man the world would come to fear and respect in equal measure. Esch, better known to the world as Butterbean, transformed every calorie, every ounce of flesh, into raw, unbridled power. He was not an athlete born to elegance or grace. He was a living, breathing juggernaut, a 400-pound storm destined to leave destruction in his wake. Critics laughed at him. Opponents sneered. But those who dared step into the ring with this mountain of muscle quickly learned that appearances were the only thing misleading about him. What lay beneath was an insatiable appetite for victory and the kind of knockout force that made even seasoned fighters pause. Even Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, raised an eyebrow. From the moment Butterbean made his mark, he defied convention. Opponents would stride into the ring, confident in their height, reach, or shredded physiques, only to discover that the true measure of power does not come in inches or muscle tone. It comes in heart, in will, and in the sheer, unrelenting force of one man's fists. The dawn of Butterbean's professional career was marked by a clash with Jackie Beard, a towering figure who underestimated the squat, seemingly unremarkable fighter before him. Beard had the advantage of reach and speed, and early on, he used it mercilessly, landing punches on Butterbean's enormous frame and mocking him with every taunt. He danced, he taunted, he smiled. He thought he understood the rules of engagement. But Butterbean, far from intimidated, absorbed each strike as though it were a mere warm-up, his massive body a cushion of inevitability. And then, with the precision of a predator honed over countless rounds, he fired back. A right hand like a meteor struck Beard, sending him soaring, a testament to the sheer physics of a man who transformed bulk into devastation. Beard, who had mocked, who had dared, was reduced to a cautionary tale. Butterbean had announced himself. He was no novelty. He was a force of nature. By 1995, Butterbean's rise was unstoppable. 9 consecutive victories lined his record, opponents falling like rare Pokemon collected for the champion's belt. But the universe was not done testing him. Doug Norris, nicknamed Dangerous, emerged as a figure of equal arrogance, muscles like coiled steel, and a confidence meant to intimidate. The fight began with Norris attempting to keep the bulky fighter at bay, a strategy to exploit his shorter reach. But Butterbean, driven by an appetite as insatiable as his punches, surged forward, absorbing punishment and delivering chaos in equal measure. Norris, a man built for aggression, became helpless, body crumpled and spirit broken, proving that sheer musculature alone cannot withstand the tidal wave of instinctive power Butterbean wielded. The chubster had proven it once more. No matter how threatening the physique, he was the storm the ring had feared. Yet Butterbean was not content to remain confined to the squared circle. Mixed martial arts beckoned, and with 7 MMA victories already under his belt, he faced James Thompson, a seasoned contender who promised to end the fight swiftly and decisively. The anticipation crackled like electricity in the air, each fighter's gaze locking in a silent promise of carnage. And yet, it was Thompson who found himself sitting back, disoriented, overwhelmed by the unrelenting force of the man who had converted what many saw as liability into unparalleled lethality. Butterbean was a man who could not be limited, whose body alone was a weapon capable of subduing those who dare challenge him. Time and again, the ring bore witness to this contradiction. A man of prodigious girth moving with the devastating precision of a predator, every step, every swing, a lesson in power and resilience. Jonathan Whitfield, the Bull, and Pat Jackson, both mountainous athletes, thought themselves threats. They discovered, with crushing inevitability, that Butterbean's size was not a vulnerability, but a weapon. He charged, he swung, he absorbed hits as though the world's punishment bounced harmlessly off his massive frame. And then he struck, each blow designed to dismantle confidence, pride, and structure. Jackson, in particular, found himself overwhelmed not merely by force, but by the reckless, berserk spirit of Butterbean, a frenzy that consumed any attempt at defense and turned the bout into a showcase of sheer dominance. At the end, Butterbean's victories were not just earned, they were inflicted, the canvas littered with the remnants of overconfidence and misjudgment. The legend continued. In 2006, Ed White, a steroid-enhanced behemoth, challenged Butterbean for the IBA championship belt. The fight opened with White's enormous jab, each punch like a battering ram against Butterbean's elephantine skin. Yet, with every strike, Butterbean absorbed, adapted, and returned punishment with calculated ferocity. White's offense, no matter how brutally engineered, failed to break the chubster, who, with body shots and uppercuts of terrifying accuracy, ended the fight in decisive fashion. Once again, Butterbean reminded the world that weight, size, and brute strength alone are meaningless without heart, without vision, and without the ability to channel one's unique power into devastating effect. By 1999, Butterbean had amassed 42 wins, a series of triumphs that chronicled the rule of the king of 4 rounds. Yet the challengers kept coming. Kevin Talone, a formidable opponent, entered the ring confident in his resilience. The bell sounded, and Butterbean, ever the glutton for punishment and victory alike, pounced. He pressed, he hammered, he pinned, he pulverized, each moment an exhibition in how one man's resolve could bend the very physics of a fight to his will. Talone rose repeatedly, but each time, he faced the unyielding fist of a man who had transformed indulgence into industry, size into precision, and raw force into an art form. By round 3, it was clear, resistance was futile. Butterbean, the unassuming colossus, had conquered again. Peter McNeely, eager to challenge the reigning titan, volunteered to confront the insatiable Butterbean. With a record that suggested danger and precision, McNeely attacked early, believing in his skill, his speed, his chance. But the first exchange revealed the vast gulf between hubris and reality. Butterbean, absorbing and delivering punishment in equal measure, transformed the bout into a lesson in brutality. McNeely faltered, staggered, and finally succumbed to the overwhelming power that had defined Butterbean's career. Once again, the message was clear. No fighter, no matter how prepared, could escape the physics, precision, and sheer appetite for domination embodied in Eric Esch. As Butterbean's legend grew, so too did the scale of the challenges. Marcus R.H., a bruiser with 24 victories, faced a fighter whose appearance belied a lethal capacity. Round after round, Butterbean absorbed, retaliated, and methodically wore his opponent down, proving that endurance, cunning, and the ability to channel raw energy into decisive blows were the true weapons of a champion. Marcus R.H., despite his strength and determination, was outmatched, outclassed, and ultimately undone by the very qualities that made Butterbean a living anomaly. Butterbean was more than a fighter. He was a phenomenon, a walking paradox of indulgence and discipline, of mass and motion, of lethality and showmanship. His fists wrote history in every gym, every cage, every ring. Opponents came, they mocked, they tried, and they failed. He turned what most saw as flaws into advantages, proving that greatness is not confined to the expected forms of athleticism. Through boxing, MMA, and sheer force of will, Eric Butterbean Esch carved an unassailable legacy. And even today, mention his name, and you hear the echo of fists against flesh, of opponents meeting the canvas, and of the insatiable appetite of a man who turned his body, his presence, and his very being into a weapon of unstoppable force. Butterbean's story is one of contradiction, of awe, and of raw, unfiltered power. He reminds us that in the world of combat, the unexpected is often the deadliest, and that greatness can emerge from the least likely of forms. He was the ultimate knockout artist, a man who inspired fear even in the bravest, whose fists wrote tales that no words could contain. And so, the legend endures, a reminder that in the arena of giants, it is not always the leanest or the fastest who triumph, but the one whose force, ferocity, and relentless will cannot be denied. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unstoppable force that was Butterbean, tell us in the comments, what fight shocked you the most? Which knockout left your jaw on the floor? And if you want to see more cinematic breakdowns of the fiercest fighters ever, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in this ring, the story never ends.